It's intermission time. It's great to get out to the movies.
So, Viola and Manny, I've had you both on the podcast before, so it's kind of fun to now have you two again and together. Well, thanks for coming back on. How long has it been? Over a year?
A little over a year, because last time I came back on, I was like, I'm going to make a musical. And we
Yeah.
were like, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, that is a really full circle moment that we talked about the musical that we will be now discussing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was 2023 for me.
Okay.
It was like right when you guys started
Yeah, you were
Intermission.
one of our first episodes.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you said, the whole format's kind of changed and how you guys work and everything has changed a little bit. So it's been amazing to watch it all grow.
Oh, I'm stoked to have you guys on and talk about your project. We're going to get into it in a little bit, but first we're going to do a general like movie taste section just to get to know you two through the films you like. If those listening had seen your episodes before or listened to them, they may already know this. I try to ask some questions that are a little bit more like current taste, I guess, and like maybe some filling in the gaps of like what you've been consuming. Oh, I got corrected on a podcast for saying consuming films.
I did see that. But I devour movies.
Yeah,
I consume them.
This is
That's
what I tried
something
to
I
tell
do.
him was like, I view the word consume, like he was trying to give
They're delicious.
Yeah, like consume, like absorb and devour.
Yeah.
And he was taking it more of the like consumer content. And like, I hate the word content.
Right.
And so I
well,
got
if you
what
add
he-
content to
Yeah.
it, it ruins it. But if you don't say content.
Yeah, I was just saying consuming films.
Yeah.
But I got what he was getting
Yeah.
at. Because like, I love to be a hater too. And like, the craft of film is so precious. Like, I
Yeah.
get it.
Well, and I'm a very intense watcher, so I watch a lot, and it is like devouring and consuming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think Josh Safdie talks about it a lot about like cinephilia can be like a disease at times where you just are watching so much and like turning off the world. And I think I was trained since COVID to do that. So
You watch, this is actually funny now that I have you in person. When I'm on Letterboxd and I'm trying to watch,
I already know what you're gonna say.
when I'm like trying to watch a movie or add it to my watch list, every time it's like Manny Liotta has watched this. Manny Liotta has written a review.
It's bad.
I used to like try to think we would keep up in conversation about the films he was watching. There would be no possible way in the day to like maintain a life and also be like, I watched this. Hey, I just watched this. I used to be like, oh my gosh, you watched that today? I didn't even know. And I was like, yeah, but I also didn't know the other 12 films he watched that day.
It's
I just
crazy.
gave up. I was like, I'll hear what I hear. Like I couldn't, if I want, I'll look at his letterbox. But like, it was like, you watch.
I
a
don't.
lo- I mean, I watch a lot of movies. I thought.
I think Manny tops everyone I've had, like
Oh my
in,
God.
in quantity.
Oh no, for sure.
In quantity, everyone we've had on the show.
That's so
100%.
nice to hear.
he
I'm
he
really
can't.
happy
No,
about
like
that.
I mean, like you walk in his house and then like one starts and then like if you're there and then like it ends and immediately like another goes on and I just know that like when I'm not there that's continuously
it's still
happening. And
happening.
then like also while he's sleeping they're playing. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
can't sleep without a movie on. So it's like there's never not consumption.
There
Thank
go.
you for that. Okay, well, if someone only saw one film that you love out of all the many, and you wanted to explain your taste, you wanted that film to explain your taste completely, what film would come to mind?
Well, if I don't do a Judy Garland film, it would be weird. So it would be
Yeah,
like
you
Meet
have
Me in
to.
St. Louis because of Boy Next Door.
Great number.
Footlight Parade. Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, that feels right for you.
I don't know. I've been on the Dogma 95 stuff recently, like a lot of the Lars von Trier and Thomas Vinterberg DV cam stuff from like the late 90s. So I don't know. I feel like that would really describe like the celebration, which won like the jury prize at Cannes, I think, when it came out. Very morbid movie. I love it though. I guess Speed Racer. The Wachowski Speed Racer, which I've probably talked about, but like to me, that just is my brain always. Just I don't know. That movie was made for people with ADHD.
Yeah. I think both of you are pretty self-aware in your answers.
It's very day and
We're
night.
not like trying to pretend or something.
What is the last movie that you watched that you felt like it completely surprised you? And it doesn't need to necessarily be the first time you saw it, but you maybe had an expectation and it wasn't that.
Phantom Thread.
Oh yeah? In what way did it surprise you?
I was a lot more excited and giddy about it than I had anticipated being. Not that I don't love him as a director, but I loved it.
It is such a good film, especially coming, I think, from someone like you who really cares. I from the outside, I would assume you really care about clothing.
Oh yeah, yeah. He did that well, but I just know. I think I like. At first, I didn't get what was going on with this girl. At the beginning, talking about him, the lead character, and how I didn't realize that she'd already like started like giving him the mushroom situation. And I was like, she's like this weird vibe, like what's going on? And then when they started like unfolding all of that, and I realized she's talking to like the doctor, and that whole time that we've been seeing her say all those things kind of throughout and describing his personality, she's like fully poisoned this guy. I don't know, like that.
Probably. I don't know.
You may have to cut like all of that because it's just spoiler central. I don't know.
I think I would assume a lot of our listeners have listened.
I would say
seen it?
I would just say at the beginning, the way he unfolded that story was very cool. But like the way that actress, there was like this crazy like wily look in her eye, and I was just like so wanting to bond with her over like whatever she did. Like what did you get away with? Like I could tell. And then when they got to that part where like I was like, oh my god. Oh, and then like, the Sabrina Carpenter album with Nobody's Son came out the day, and between that song and Phantom Thread, I was just like,
nice comparison.
I was like, honestly.
Speaking of Sabrina Carpenter, I think this would be up your alley. Her latest project with
Coleman Domingo.
Yes, Coleman Domingo.
He was like,
don't
cook. He's like, don't cook for me.
After Phantom Thread.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want you to cook me food, and I was like, okay.
Did a movie come to mind for you?
Yeah, and I can say this. So I saw Begonia.
Oh, I
Yes.
saw that you
I'm so
like
jealous.
posted that you'd seen
Yes.
it, and I'm jealous as
I'm
well.
so jealous.
I'm honestly jealous of myself because I don't know what I did to deserve that, to see it. Because I almost thought I had Yargos fatigue because he dropped Poor Things and he did Kinds of
Yeah, it was
Kindness
pretty
right
back
away.
to
And I
back.
was like, this guy doesn't stop. I didn't know going into Begonia if I was going to feel just jaded by him, but he did something so spectacular and so poignant and on the nose that I just was so taken aback by the first second of that movie. I was like, this is so fantastic and just he's at the top of his craft as a filmmaker.
Huh.
He could just like close his eyes and just make a great movie.
Well, now we have something to look forward to.
Yeah, I
I
guess
know,
we'll
I
just
know.
wait, like the
but, like,
regular people.
I didn't want to bring it up. It was literally I can't stop thinking about it.
And it's a perfect answer to this question.
Sure.
Have you discovered any filmmakers recently that you're excited about? Like maybe since we last had you two on.
For me, I recently discovered this Italian director, Mario Bava,
Okay.
and
Was that what you were gonna
were
say?
Okay.
Well, that's good.
Oh my
That's
God,
fun.
we cooking with the Bava. Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I will
So you
say
can both
Speak for us.
I introduced you to Mario Bava, so maybe. But I digress. I think we connect to him on such a spiritual, beautiful craftsman level.
My apartment looks just like every film. So
Exactly.
I just didn't know I needed
the
that.
Bava.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's funny because like Giallo movies, like I always will find like a new one, and I'm just like, God, that looks like my room. Like, it's not intentional. Like,
I love that. I've seen like I'm assuming it's your home just through social media.
yeah,
And I like need to come over sometime.
it's quite an.
There's so much to look
experience.
at. There's so many animals to
Yeah.
pet.
It's like Snow White.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
I mean, it's true though. Every room in her apartment looks like either a Giallo movie or a Vincent Minnelli set or some sort of set
true.
from old Hollywood. And the building was built by Paramount to
Yeah.
house all
wow.
the actors.
So it's very like it's funny because I always say like my building like Mae West lived there like her whole life until she died, and there was a bunch of others, but my building has like the most glamorous stuff. The bathrooms are like the bathtubs are so big. Like I don't know who they're for, but like they're
Me.
yeah exactly just to swim around like in a pool. They're so big. It's so like over the top, but then like the maintenance is a little off,
Mhm.
and so it's affordable. And so you have this like really glamorous home, but it's like you can afford it. Just because you're kind of taking like, well, I'm gonna have to fix the sink myself.
Yeah.
But like, it's worth it to me. Like getting like
What
the
a cool
glam
spot to be
bathtub.
in.
If you,
It's
if you
really
know, if you know,
beautiful.
you know. When I tell people at the building I live in, they're like, oh, that makes sense, and I'm like, what? Yeah, it's beautiful, and it has a giant macaw in it and pretty other birds and
Dogs
a rabbit,
and cats and a rabbit, a
dogs,
snake.
cat.
The snake's
The
in the
snake
movie.
in the film.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's one of my questions later. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I assumed. Okay. Wait. I want to hear more about this director you mentioned, and just like what about that director you two were both into.
Well, I've mentioned in the past that I have severe ADHD, and so I love.
You didn't even need to tell me.
Yeah, just take one look at me, and you're like,
Shocking.
oh boy, he's got the ADHD.
You actually seem pretty calm today.
I've been smoking cigarettes.
History. Today you seem okay.
I've been smoking cigarettes again, which is
Okay.
not ideal, but because we're prepping our screening, so it's just been intense. But I don't know, this guy. I'm really responsive to Italian filmmakers because I'm Italian, and I realize I never. But yeah, again, you're not, and it's interesting that you respond to him. But I think his filmmaking is so infectious. His craftsmanship. He was his own cinematographer for a lot of his movies, so they have this like really crazy personal vision to everything he's done. Blood and Black Lace specifically is like the most gorgeous, stunning film of
That's
color.
a great name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all
That
the,
sounds like a song name.
yeah, it might as well be an album name. Sabrina Carpenter's next album. Like
Yeah.
it might as well be.
Good tie-in.
You know,
much
he made like a James Bond
We sound
type.
like her fan club.
You know, I'm sure everybody is unconsciously inspired by him because his stylistic play is off the charts. And I'm a big fan of style and substance together. But some of his films are just pure style, and I'm just like, I can eat it up.
Oh, is there a TV show at all that you've been watching that scratches the same itch as movies? Do either of you watch TV shows?
I watch TV. He
Okay.
doesn't.
You don't really watch
Yeah,
TV?
we have very different views.
Yeah.
In this house.
I think about Twin Peaks: The Return almost every day, but
yeah, that's true.
you know,
That was literally just on.
I try and stay away from TV
Oh, I
because
watched one.
it can just consume
Yeah.
everything. It consume a lot of time. So
What is the
Yeah, the movies are...
it'll take away from the movies because you can watch like 8
But
movies.
there's some
and then-
really, really
that's true.
beautiful TV shows
Yeah.
that are really well done. In fact, I think
I know.
I just finished
There was
Adolescence with
Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah.
Like, that
looks
to me is-
incredible.
that one's amazing.
cinema.
Well, that's
no,
the thing
listen,
is, when I thought that there was a moment, I feel like maybe 10 years ago, or maybe even a little before that, where I thought they were starting to be way more artful on TV than film. Film was like feeling really cheap, and like TV, we suddenly had like Mad Men and like all this stuff where it was just like the art direction was incredible. And so I was just like more turning to TV at that time because I wanted to see like things that were really thoughtful and well done. And I was looking at films coming out and I was like,
Like The Handmaiden. Like, there's
yeah.
so many well-done shows.
Oh, yeah,
I
no.
mean, I would say for me, The Sopranos has
Yeah.
been something that I think
You're so
since the
Italian.
last. Yeah, you know.
So-
but I'm Italian. I hadn't seen the show,
each
so I was
of our
like,
show
that's
choices
kind
is
of.
going to be like, wow, okay, that was really obvious.
And I've seen it twice, so
You've
I'm
seen
a-
The Sopranos twice?
Yeah, I ran it through twice.
Wow.
'Cause I
I
was
guess
like, I
I've
gotta
seen Sex
catch
in
up.
the City twice.
Yeah, see, yeah. We love Carrie.
Actually, I don't, but
Okay, never mind.
kind of problematic.
I know.
Or you're watching Wednesday right now, right?
Well,
you do like Wednesday.
I don't know if I would use that to represent me. That's just like, it's out and I need to see what happens.
Oh, for sure, for
Oh,
sure.
the new season is out.
And my dog loves it too.
yeah.
Her stylist, whoever's been styling her for like all the press for the
Yeah.
new season, is really great.
Yeah,
Really good looks.
She's really, really killing it. I was watching this new season and I have like this tiny, tiny Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. I don't know how to explain. Like she's supposed to be 20 pounds. She's 8 pounds. I don't know. It didn't work out. And she's so small. She's so smart and so small. And she's really involved in TV and film. Like anything that's on, she's following the plot. And I noticed it with Wednesday. It was the first time I noticed it because I was just like laying there like half awake watching like one of the episodes and there was like an evil crow and we have a lot of birds in our home. And she put 2 and 2 together and she was like, Mom, are birds bad? And like you could see she was like she's sucked up to the birds pretty hard.
I wish
In my
your
home,
dog was here right now.
I was gonna bring her actually.
Next
I
time.
regret it. I regret every time I don't bring her because everything's better with her. But there's this video I have of her just that I can send you because it's like. I don't know. It could have
Her
gone
eyes
viral.
are,
If
like,
I'd made a
bulging out of
reel
her
of
head.
it, it would have gone viral. Like there were like the crow was flying towards the camera, and like my dog's eyes were just like out, and she kept looking up at me like, "Could our birds do that?" And I was like,
the
"No,
crows.
birds are okay. That's just like a CGI
Yeah,
bird."
you got to play the crows or something.
And then
the crows know the
I
bird.
thought it was just like that she recognized an animal, and I was like, "That's pretty smart," like you know. But then it was like the last episode. There was like I don't want to give it away, but there was like a scary thing that happened with like magical powers from like a human to a human, and she was really rooting for one of the humans and really stressed about the bad guy. And I was like, no, she's following the plot. Like she's getting the protagonist. She's like really mad. She keeps growling at the mean guy. And I'm like, I love watching stuff with her. Like she's really involved.
Very
and
cute.
like if Manny's busy,
Aw.
my Cavalier's really a great
That's sick.
watch partner.
I love
I've
that.
never had a dog be so interested in like the like storyline or like so stressed by like she's like in like she's consuming.
Yeah. That's cute. That is really sweet.
But yeah, no, I think TV. I will always be like trying to figure out how I Love Lucy is so perfect. I know that's like, oh, but that was the first one. But it's same with like Wizard of Oz. Like, I mean, it's like, well, but have we beaten that? Like with like comedy and like just like every episode is so every little tiny thing, was a different time. Like and like I think just Lucille Ball was a maniac, like probably a crazy perfectionist and like. I mean, I read her book. She is, and
Yeah, I was about to say she absolutely, yeah.
but she's a genius, and I take it for granted sometimes because I just watched it growing up, and I was like, that's a fun show. And then like as an adult, as a filmmaker, watching it, I'm just like, God damn it! I'm like, she's brilliant, and every little moment, every little nuance, every little thing is just timed perfectly. And this is all the first time they've tried things live with multiple cameras, with live studio audience, like, and it's the most perfect one. Like, I don't know.
I
Like,
want to read her book now.
oh, her book. Because she was a visionary. Like, she greenlit Star Trek. Like, she made like everyone who likes Star Trek has to thank Lucille Ball. Like,
Oh, interesting.
you'd never like the things she ended up doing, and then just some of the stuff she did in like her like. As she was like getting older, like if you watch like the Judy Garland show and the Carol Burnett show and just all her little appearances on things, like she's just always and
She's
like
on,
and yeah, like even she does like a late night talk show. It's the best. I sometimes just watch. I'll just put on YouTube like Lucille Ball interview, and I'll just like watch them all because it's like a scripted show. Like everything she says is so like interesting and funny and perfectly timed. And I don't know, like. She's just so brilliant. But, like, some of the other actors, like Vivian Vance and, like, she was incredible, too. Like, I didn't realize until I was, like, older because I was just like, Lucy's the main thing. That's what we think about. But when I got older, I was like, oh, no, Vivian Vance was also, like, a super powerhouse. And, like, I don't know. That show just, like...
She plays a lot of VHS tapes of the show.
Yeah, I do.
I was going to ask where you're watching it.
Yeah.
On my
She-
CRTV, cozy in bed.
Shout out Trinitron.
Do you guys have a film, doesn't need to be a recent film, but just for film lovers that you would recommend coming from you, in your opinion, that they must see?
I will say Steven Soderbergh's Solaris. Because I got to see that at the Academy Museum recently for I've seen it a lot as like the last 2 years. And I feel like we always talk about Tarkovsky and his Solaris, and this remake that Soderbergh came out with in like 2002 is one of the most unique exercises in filmmaking of the early 2000s I've ever seen. Because I don't know, it was just a weird 90-minute concoction that nobody really asked for. They're like, we'll remake Solaris and touch what Tarkovsky did, but make something completely different. And George Clooney's our lead, and I don't know. This movie's been embedded in my brain for so long since I first saw it, and seeing it in the Academy Museum, I was like, this needs to be reevaluated, reappreciated, because I don't think anybody talks about it.
I've never been to the Academy Museum. You can watch a full film there?
They have like pieces of them playing. But at the theater, yeah.
The actual Academy
I didn't
Theater.
even know that.
Yeah, and
This is the greatest
cheap.
movie theater in Los
I don't know if
Angeles.
that's a sell or
I gotta say, I've been to a lot of movie theaters out here, and the Academy Theater at the David Geffen Theater, which is this giant red theater. If
Yeah.
you drive by, it's like the dome.
I think I'm just so like I never leave my neighborhood, and I need to branch
I
out.
understand.
I get
But
that.
I want to go. I want to go.
I
It's
get that.
huge. We're seeing Michael Mann in person for Heats next Sunday.
Shut up.
He'll be there playing it.
Which we talked about in my last one.
That's sick.
Yes, and like a lot of people.
That's cool.
A lot of people come there and do introductions.
We had
and-
we had Michael Mann's daughter on the podcast.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to someone the other night, and I was like, yeah, I said this on a podcast once because it was yours.
Yeah.
And I was like, Michael Mann's and the like bank robbery scene is like the like reminds me of like a musical number. Like the choreography is so precise.
Yeah.
And
It's a ballet.
I see what I want.
He's a musical
but-
filmmaker.
Yeah. I mean, it has that same like
Yeah. I think that's a completely
feeling
valid thought.
where
yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm in another world. It's bigger and brighter and less realistic than the one I'm in, and I love it. Like,
And where Academy Museum and the Academy Theater have been great because she's seen The Insider for the first time there on the biggest screen possible.
right
Thief.
before Stephen Colbert was fired. That
Oh,
blew
wow.
my mind.
Yeah, and then The
the
Insider.
next day,
the parallels.
I
It
was
was
like,
extraordinary.
Al Pacino. I was
They-
We need Al
someone
Pacino.
call Al Pacino, right? That's the answer. Because then
With the Shrek
I was
phone
like,
case.
they just solved this. Al Pacino just figured this out and did this better. But it was a movie. It was a Michael Mann film, but it didn't pan out as well in real life.
That's funny. That is really funny.
The timing was weird.
The Insider Heads was brought up like recently. Well, not recently. Like during this time period on. I listened to The Daily. It's like a New York Times podcast,
Yeah.
and they did a connection to that as well.
Oh.
which I
Oh,
thought
that was
funny.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally the next day.
Yeah.
that it
I like got
happened.
on like my TikTok like a conspiracy like I just smoked a lot of weed and was like, guys. I was like, my neighbors were like, I was like on like my fire escape and they're like, you were just like yelling about Al Pacino up there for a while, and I was like, oh, I can explain.
Okay, wait. So going back, you did
Yeah.
Solaris.
Mhm,
Did you say
yeah.
one?
I would say Footlight Parade because if you're watching this and we're yapping about musicals and you're maybe not into them because the cinematography doesn't excite you or something, because I know a lot of like old musicals, there's like just like the camera's set and then there's like a musical number for like a long time and the camera doesn't do anything because they just everything on the screen is interesting. But for cinematography people who want to watch like newer movies, they're just like, that's not interesting. And with Footlight Parade, if you think like old musicals are hokey, boring, have like not interesting plots or cinematography, watch Footlight Parade because it's like cooler than anything that comes out now. Like this guy Wesley Berkeley's crazy, and then I even can say that like John Waters said that was like his desert island movie. Like if he had to pick one film to take to a desert island, it would be Footlight Parade. So that's a pretty good endorsement.
That's cool.
For like me wanting you to watch it as well. I have John Waters with me, so
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up John Waters in this episode because
that's important.
that feels right. That feels right.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
should be
yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
He had to get brought up at some point.
It was
gonna
coming.
happen. Yeah, it was gonna say. It's either you or me.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into Satirica. This was executive produced by Jay Van Hoy,
Yeah.
and he did The Lighthouse, The Witch, Beginners, which I love Beginners,
Mm-hmm.
American Honey. What was the connection to Jay?
He came to he was he executive produced a movie we were both on, and then he like weirdly got into my music. He came to like every show and was very like a fan. Like he really liked, I think, the label I was on, and he was just really into it. And eventually I was just like, I think I can ask this guy to like make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, like he was so excited. I was like, I think I have like wiggle room now to just be like, I want to make a musical.
Yeah.
And I called him and he was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I thought I was going to have to sell it a little harder. And
She was backstage on doing an old Hollywood like showcase.
yeah.
Like basically right before she was about
We
to go
were
on
raising
stage,
money for making it with this old Hollywood showcase. We were like ticket sales.
Oh.
And
with like a performance.
and then we called him and I was just like, I'd love you to be involved. And I told him kind of what we wanted to do. And he was like, fuck yeah. And I was like, oh, great. And so, yeah, he's the best. He's really like supportive of like new artists and everyone I've known
He's a
that's
great
worked
track
with
record.
him. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone who's worked with him has been like, he helped me meet this person and this person that changed my life. Like everyone that's worked with Jay Van Hoy's had some sort of like life-changing experience after like working with him. So
Very
he's
cool.
just like good. I think Jay Van Hoy has good luck and like good vibes and he's a good fellow.
I hope that one day people say that about me.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
When they come onto this podcast.
When I come on
Yeah.
this podcast,
It's
it blew
like,
up.
wow,
Everything.
everything changed.
I have a car. That's so. I just have a car.
So your film Satirica, can you tell me the premise, the concept, a little bit about it before we get into it for the listener?
I wrote it based on like a weird fever dream mix of the first century novel that Petronius wrote.
Satyricon.
I was homeschooled and and then Satyricon, the Fellini film.
Yeah, okay.
Inspired it, and then I thought, but like, what if like Satyricon was made, but like it was like a Busby Berkeley film? Because I was like, there's always that. There's always to me, it's very interesting, like the fall of Rome, the fall of like the rise and fall of the star of Hollywood, of whether I think once a year, every year since Hollywood's been running, everyone's saying that it's the end of Hollywood, that like, they're like movies are over. I mean, they've been saying that the whole time for like 100 years. Like if you're worried that the industry is done, perspective, they've been saying that the whole time. Like every time there's a new decade with new stuff, they're like, oh, Hollywood's done. And we think of that as a very wonderful time, as like golden age of, and people are just, I don't know, people just get like attached to like 2 years before, a year before, and then I guess now we're like 100 years before. And so I always think of Hollywood as kind of like the Roman Empire. It's just like everyone always talks about it's just gonna go down in a day. Like they're just like, like all these studios, everything's just gonna fall to the ground, and like I don't know, like, but it's still here, and it's just gonna always keep evolving, and hopefully we evolve in a direction that people are really excited about, and we say that a little less for a few years, and then we're gonna say it again, but yeah, I think like there's a lot of tradition of like in the old musicals of the making of the movie, because that's kind of how you can get away a lot with like musical scenes, without them feeling like, why are we singing in a cafe? Like there's a lot of like cheesy moments in modern musicals sometimes where I'm freaking out because I love musicals, but people start singing and I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
And I don't get the context. And so the making of the movie always provides context. And honestly, if the performances are like crazy enough, like Gene Kelly can just sing in a cafe and I'm not distracted. I'm just like, wow, he's so talented. I'm not like, why is he singing? I'm like, thank God. But sometimes I feel like if you don't have that like level of like excellence, which we also tried to achieve in casting, is finding like these superhuman people that were still alive at this time. Like we got some of the cast that we got with their dancing and their experience is just they're from another era, just kind of dropped in here. And that's what I was trying to find. But in the story, I just wanted the rise and fall of like the studio, the characters, the
two showgirls,
the fame,
yeah.
the love, like everything in like those old musicals. It's just some sort of kind of like there's like this reach, like in Ziegfeld Girl, like Lana Turner becomes like super famous and she's like everything you want to be, and then all of a sudden she's like at home with a heart condition because she like went too hard with her success. Like there's that rise and fall that I think is like a big tradition in old musicals that I like. And Rome works for that. And so then I was reading I was reading Petronius's book, just like paging through it, and I was like, this is cool for a musical. And everyone was like, okay.
Because it's just ramblings.
And then I was like, no. I was like, hear me out. Fellini did Satyricon. I was like, this would be cool. And I was like, the costumes could be really exciting. And I was like, Busby Berkeley, it's very like loud, like all of those like headdresses and things. Like it makes sense. And I was like, it makes sense with like some of these like lines that we have, Madame, do you wish to come to life again? And all these things worked so well with the story. And they were, from a first century novel, but they felt so like perfect and quippy in the film. And so, I don't know. It came from like a lot of weird, really niche, really sheltered and homeschooled places. But I think that became like finding like a balance of the universal and the particular. That's how.
I think what we wanted to do, which kind of ties into the gestation of the project, was like, to me, the movie musical means more than just what we've seen as of recently, which is giant CGI, over budgeted films. And I wanted to make this with Viola and tone it down to somewhere that's more tangible and really homemade and feels like handcrafted. And we wanted to make a film that presented a story about showgirls in this era that's lost in time.
Yeah.
And then completely is done in a fashion that I don't think anybody's really done before to this capacity in terms of like a musical. Because we're trying to figure out how to show people that we want to make a musical in the confusion and a lot of like, well, I don't know if I can't really see. And we were just like, we just got to make it and show people that this is possible.
We were like, I don't think we could talk about this at parties enough to explain it properly. We would just have to make it.
So
speaking of the era, because I think you did specifically say a year that this is, that's something I wanted to ask was, is this a period piece or is that not relevant?
So I just told, I wanted to like kind of capture the nostalgia of like an old Hollywood musical. So I told everyone in the cast it was set in 1944. It's not, it's just like whenever. I have no idea. It's some sort of
That's
like
kind of what
retro future
I
thing.
felt. Yeah.
But I thought if I said 1944, people would speak in a better way and not have like a Valley person accent.
But everyone's got piercings and tattoos.
Exactly, that's
and
what
colored
made it
hair.
kind of cool.
I didn't want to cover up the tattoos or make everyone have supernatural hair colors. I was fine with it being. I wanted it to be vague, but I wanted everyone to sound very like sophisticated and eloquent.
It's very you.
And so I said 1944 so that people would speak a certain way that felt like a musical, but that's not the case.
Yeah. Okay, I have so many questions and thoughts. First, this isn't a thought. This is just a compliment. The editing is so cool.
Thank you.
Like, that's you, all you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Thank
my
you so
God.
much.
Like, in the intro, the title card, like, I wanted to ask, well, like I said, I have a million questions, but so the title card's red, and then there's like pinkish purple, like lights, and they look like fireworks and sparkles. How is that achieved? Can I ask that?
Mass.
I will.
Key. Did you use like a key, Luma key?
There's a lot of different types of lo-fi animation pieces that we use that are from the public domain.
Okay.
So
This is very good.
thank you so much. Yeah, and I changed the colors on them and experimented with the
The
just
colors
the
were
vibe,
very good.
and it's supposed to be hypnotizing and drawing you in, and there's a lot of those flashes and weird stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
That's like supposed to just like put you in a trance.
It was
so.
a placeholder. We were going to do like an old Hollywood like satin backdrop with like letters on it and stuff, and we just died. We were done, and then we looked at it and we were like, we like this. We
I
kind of
love
bonded
it.
with it at that point.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah,
I like
Thank you.
just to get like yeah.
I'm glad that you like it because we thought like, oh, did we just bond with it or like did we need to make different? But that's good.
No, I think it's great. I also love the hazy overlay of the whole film. And you don't need to spill your secrets now, but I personally want to know how you.
We can spell them, right?
Sure.
Well,
I
curious.
put it in my reel. I put
Yeah,
Devin with his nylon.
Mhm.
How did you make it?
So I went in very like really like heavy handed on the like, you can't make us ugly. Like me and Mila, like we want like when you watch an old musical, like I think a lot of people Like now, I think if there was something like that glossy, I think there'd be probably a lot of retouching with 4K and whatnot because like it's not gritty. Like you're not like getting like an old musical isn't like a gritty like we see all your pores thing. Like that's actually I feel distracting. Like when you watch an old musical, it's like everything's very shiny and glamorous. And I don't really need to see people super close up unless it's like Mr. DeMille, I'm Ready, and it's like really well thought out.
Yeah.
So whenever he got the camera close, I was like, hold on. Is there a point to that? I was like, do we need it that close to my face? Or like, you know, I wanted everything to feel kind of like that old, like they had these big heavy cameras and, you know, I think the cinematographer, he was like, he wanted to move the camera as if it were like a big old heavy camera. So it didn't feel too modern in the way that it was just like whip panning around because they couldn't do that back then.
Although
and we didn't
there is some whip pans. I mean, there's really
choice
crazy
ones,
there's like some really crazy moves in the
because
movie.
we don't need it to be like a complete like commercial for 1944, but like we wanted it to feel nostalgic. And so there's a lot of like thought in that, but the nylon over the camera
lenses.
Yeah, it was on the lens. Like he like put it. I don't know how he attached it exactly, but like we can send you like a funny little video of him with his nylon over his lens, looking proud. But it made the whole film like so dreamy.
Yeah, very dreamlike. I'm like, in one way, glad that it was practical, but also bummed because I wanted to replicate it somehow.
Go get pantyhose and put it
pantyhose
on your
come out.
lens.
Yeah.
You know, and then we baked in grain into the camera.
You're like, how do I make the intermission episodes?
Yeah, or just like, because I don't film anything, but like, as I'm a graphic designer and like I'll do some video editing, and I was like, I just want that dreamy haze. My final thought in regards to editing was just the sparkles in this. Like, of course, you think of that glam, sparkly, shimmery when you think of old musicals, old Hollywood, and the way it was edited was so cool to see the shimmering on the dresses and your eyeshadow. I loved it. I just loved the shimmers.
Oh, it's important.
It's important, and I think just in general, we were trying to really achieve some sort of different look in the filmmaking process that, to me, everything kind of looks the same nowadays. We have this amazing technology with cameras and everything, and everything looks so drab. We were printing out copies of posters that we put all over Silver Lake promoting our screening that we're doing. And we were talking to the printer guys, and they were complaining that all modern movies, but without us even saying anything,
yeah,
that
we were
all
just
modern
sitting there
movies
like,
look bad.
It's true.
Yeah, and they're
I mean,
complaining.
every shot of the film like could be printed. It's all just like really saturated in color and shimmery.
We ended up using a still from the film for our poster because we were gonna use photos, but we were just like, oh, I like this better.
Yeah,
like, it's just, well, the stills were really fun to when we pulled them up. We were like, oh wow, this is such a world. We wanted to create a world that like that's what I like about an old musical is you like really dive into a world separate from yours, and that's kind of the escape.
Well, what also is crazy is it was supposed to be filmed liminally first. It was supposed to be like a black box, very liminal, just a lot of shadows. We had one location that kind of fell through, and then immediately she found this amazing studio.
I did not want black.
Yeah, and well, that was going to be our go-to.
That was our Michael Mann, what's his name, debate. I was like, no, it has to
Eric
be
Roth making The Insider?
Yes, that was us. No, because when they were talking about their process, I was like, oh.
Yeah, Michael and Eric
we
Roth
were definitely fighting about
The
some stuff,
Insider.
but I was like, I need Technicolor. I need color.
Well, she found a studio out here that just kind of opened their doors, LA Powder Room Studios. And
which everyone shoots at now, and it's just like...
but they opened their doors like months before
is
we
this where
shot
the
there.
cloud background
Yeah.
is?
A lot of the sets
that was
are
so
in their
perfect
location.
to me because
Yeah.
it reminded
Yeah.
me of Singing in the Rain.
It was
and then
perfect.
we
It
found
was found. It dropped right into our hands.
Well, and we found a
And-
guy there when we were location scouting, and he said that like his main thing that he did in life was that he wanted to build Busby Berkeley staircases.
No way.
And we were like,
Who is this guy?
wait, hold on, like I don't know, like how do we are so poor. What do we say to this man? I was like, so it's really interesting that you say that. And so we were like really trying to like wow him with our Busby Berkeley knowledge so that like he maybe would be like, you can have some stairs. I don't know. And he was like, oh, you guys aren't like faking it. You guys really like Busby Berkeley. And I was like, no, like my whole life. And then he was like, well, what kind of stairs do you want? And I was like, oh my God. And so we got like, he went and like got these custom staircases, and he's like, okay, it's the sunny song, and you have the background is like the sky, and he's like, I think like your dress is. So he's like, I'm gonna paint them yellow, and
Wow.
And then we had like another one that came down into like this like sparkling grand piano, and it's this big white staircase. I mean, this guy's genius in terms of like his set design. Like, you know, when you get like the idea of like, oh, we're gonna make this way, and then when we have a feature, we're gonna hire. It's like, no, he's coming.
That's cool.
Like, there isn't another person more suited to work with us set design wise. Like that's his thing. He'd be like, oh, well, we can set this up, and we'd be like, well, how much do you? And he'd be like, I just want some yellow American spirits.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, we'll be right back. And
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
he was so sweet, but it was just like we found every single person a part of the film was like some freak like that, and that's why the film worked out for the budget that it was. Because otherwise, I don't think we would have pulled off it looking that exactly what we wanted it to be. Like, it wouldn't have been so particularly like this is what we were dreaming of if we hadn't found all these really magical people that wanted the same thing. I think we just found a bunch of people who wanted to bring back musicals and put them all on a set, and we were like, let's try something.
I had a thought from earlier about when we were talking about black and white.
Yeah.
And there is a black and white section in this, and I thought it was really cool that it's almost like a compromise of your two wishes, because it had the black and white but then like the splash of color, which I thought was a sweet blending of what you guys are saying was like what each of you wanted. And then in regards to your co-star, so she ends up being kind of the love interest in this film. And there's a shot where it's panning to the Cupid, like the cherub mermaids on the door. And I thought that was such a cute moment. And then towards the end of the film, it like is not a nod to that in a bit.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really sweet and it's cool that you just met her out into the world and then you morphed the project to fit to her in a way.
Oh, yeah. No, it had to be like, I'm working on like the feature version right now with a composer, and he knows her, and he was like, you start making art for her. She's just one of those people where you're just like, well, now she's gonna have to be like the main thing. Like, she's just magical. And so first it was like a smaller part because I was like, she just has to be part of it. And then I got to know her more, and I was like, she's a lead. She's like the co-star because she's just. It would be a waste of having her on set and not having like so much of her be part of the film, because she's just a magical, I don't know, she just radiates like some sort of magical energy. And
that's the gift of filmmaking, when it all works correctly and things kind of fall into your lap. And if James Cameron talks about having keys and doors open, and they only open for a little bit of time, and you got to kind of either go through it or you don't. That was the entire process of making this, because we didn't know how we were going to do it. We were originally planning 3 to make in 1 year, which is absolutely ambitious and insane.
So stupid.
It took a year and a half to make one 30-minute film. But everything lined up perfectly. Everybody wanted to be a part of it. Every location that fell through, another one came in. Everything just worked itself out, and people started coming in that changed the entire perception of the project and what the movie is and what the movie will be. And it's just, you can't ignore that as a filmmaker and as an artist when things just start opening up for you.
When you find people that make you rewrite your entire idea, like, they're important.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that is coming to mind about the budget and then now having seen the film is how were you able to accomplish the costumes and the outfits? Like, I'm assuming you owned a lot of that because that is kind of your aesthetic.
So the last Follies Closet, they're amazing, angelic, perfect people. So supportive of this project. We actually like literally went there like they were like a record label and played them the songs, because I told the guy running it, I had rented from him before, but I was like, to get all the costumes we need, this is gonna hurt. Like, I don't know how we're gonna pull it off. And like I knew some of the pieces I wanted. Like, I knew I wanted that giant pink bow hat on my head. And
everything was insane.
I was like, I know, like these are real Follies costumes. Some of these are real Follies costumes from like actual Ziegfeld Follies. Some of these are like Bob Mackie. Like, this is nuts. This is like a Dita Von Teese show. And like the budget and, like the things that they used, I think, borrowed for the last Showgirl. Like, we have like that. and with our budget. And it was because I knew this guy, and I went to his like location downtown, and I was like, we're making a musical. I want to bring back like, you know, whatever. And he's heard that 1,000 times. And I was like, well, let me play you a song. And I played him Hollywood, Hollywood. And he was like, oh, that sounds like a Judy Garland song. He's like, okay. He's like, okay, well, he's like, and like, he emailed us like a day later and was like, I can do just kind of like a flat fee of this, and you can just come in, and basically kind of like raided the closet. And we were like, wait, really? So I was like messaging Mila, and I was like, do you want this headdress or this headdress? And it was just like, we were like, our serotonin was just like through the roof. We're like,
yeah, because the outfits kind of, obviously there's so much that goes into it, but the outfits kind of make the film.
I think that's important. I think that's the one thing that me and Mila, there's a modern musical that I will not name, and there's this really impressive scene where they had a lot of money and they did a lot of things, and they had clearly a lot of money. It's not Wicked. Wicked's great. And we were like, why are they dressed like they like just got clothing at Target?
She's talking about La La Land.
Yeah, I knew it.
Well,
Which
so
I love dearly.
I have always said to people, I'm like, why did they shut down the 101? With all that money to shut down the 101? Why are they in colorful t-shirts? What happened? They could have shiny stuff. They could have the Ziegfeld Follies closet. Do you know he worked with us? He'll work with Damien Chazelle. What? Like, why didn't they have... If I shut down a freeway, there would be gowns, there would be headpieces, there would be flowing fabrics throughout the cars, weaving them together. I mean, like, what could you do with a freeway? Like, what?
Well, I was
when you make a musical, it has to be like, that's part of the magic, is you're just like, this is not my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it worked so well during the Great Depression and times that were harder, which, you know, we're not living in like a very happy time. And I think it's really important to have movies where you say, this is not my life, because life can be kind of rough sometimes. And so when I watch a movie, when they have all of those things like that, things you don't wear to the market, you don't wear to the DMV, you're just like, they're living in a whole nother land, and like your imagination is totally peaked. I think the wardrobe is a huge important part of that. Like, I don't think you can, like, some of my favorite films, like, I mean, like Marie Antoinette, you know, with like, how long did that last on Tumblr? Just stills from that film, because it's just like the colors, the wardrobe, things like that. I think that's like, if you want to dream, you're going somewhere else, because I don't need to see more of what I'm doing and what I'm hearing, and what I don't need to see more of reality. It's heavy enough right now.
I think there's a whole thing right now where it's just like, how can you let somebody escape? Like, really, I think we lost a little bit of this escapism in film, modern film. And we're getting a lot of amazing, poignant films like Begonia, like Eddington, and I'm assuming One Battle After Another looks very poignant to 2025. And these all are incredible films. I don't know about One Battle, but I'm hearing it's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard great things.
I mean, just astounding things. But there's something to be said about the escapism factor and why movies in the 30s and the 40s were made in the first place, to just get lost and dazzle and sparkle your way out of reality. And I don't know. I think that's something that's so important to not forget right now. And like I said, to do it in a tangible way,
Right.
where it doesn't feel so away from you. There's a whole disconnect with giant budgeted films and the viewer. When you have so much,
I love a giant budget.
I mean,
but go
I do
ahead.
too, but the problem is it doesn't feel handmade. There's amazing films from the 50s and 60s that have huge budgets, yet it just feels real and homemade and handmade, and you have really amazing filmmakers behind it that know how to move the camera.
That's the thing. I think that's a good point, is that like when they had those giant budgets, you still could see and think you could feel the little sunflowers in Wizard of Oz, and it wasn't just like some cartoon with like real people on like a green screen. Like it was real enough and tangible enough.
Well, I loved watching your film, and I loved hearing about your film, and so now I want the listener to be able to have that chance as well to get to view it. And so if you two could tell me how the listener could see your project, and then also maybe a recommendation of a film that they have seen and enjoyed, and could compare that to Satirica.
Sure. The film will be running around a little bit as like a road show. I think we're going to take it in a couple places around the country theatrically. I'm going to try and work out some ways to screen it as big as we can, because it's a bit unconventional. It's a 30-minute film. Really, it wasn't made for film festivals or anything like that. We're obviously seeking out people to see it that can, finance a much bigger version of it. So that's a key way to do that. So if you follow us on Instagram at Viola, Odette, Harlow, and Manny, Liotta, you'll be able to keep up to date with all that fun stuff. And then we obviously will drop it on streaming as well.
Yeah.
Very soon. Probably just on YouTube for free for anyone to watch. I think that's the new way to do stuff right now.
I was just thinking I want a screen grab of this film as like my desktop wallpaper. Like it's just really pretty.
I'll send you the official stills Dropbox.
I would love that.
Yeah, we
Like,
can get that for you.
It's just so dreamy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It really means
I'm
the
so
world.
glad. That's the idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I watch a film that I love, like Ziegfeld Girl or something, I mean, like that's just all over the internet. I named my dog Hedy Lamarr, and people are like, "What?" And then I'll show them a picture of her with all of her stars from the movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that girl." Like, because that's all over the internet.
Yeah.
Like, no matter whether you've seen Ziegfeld Girl, you've seen Hedy Lamarr with her stars.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Lana Del Rey did the thing
Yeah.
when she was on a carpet. But I think it's like a dream to have one of those movies that like it ends up all over just like people's feeds just as like vibes.
And that's the biggest compliment, 'cause I spend most of my life on Pinterest grabbing stills
does.
and
Yeah.
then
He loves
really
Pinterest.
researching images and building out giant pitch decks and everything and lookbooks. And,
Yeah.
I think it's great you say that too, because I want people to understand that we made it for $5,000, crowdfunded a tiny bit of it, but mainly self-financed it. And we just got the sheer power of our friends who have some really amazing gear
Yeah.
and put it all together with these amazing people who kind of fell into our lap, and we did the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know, like, that's achievable.
We
If I
didn't
can do this,
have-
anybody can, really.
When we were shooting the last like few scenes, we didn't have money for any studios anymore. So I literally painted my vanity room. I painted my bathroom.
No way.
I went to like Home Depot and I went to the Max Factor, the museum. I don't know, the one next to Mel's that has the Max Factor, all those stuff.
In Hollywood,
Yeah, I went to and I looked at kind of like the peachy pink like room that had like the two tones, and I was like, got it. And I like knew it needed to be pink, but I was like, it's a specific. It's not millennial pink. It's a very different pink. It's like a peachy. And I was like, okay. And then the bathroom's got to be like full deco because it's a deco bathroom. So I got like really like high gloss black, which like never paint with high gloss black unless you're just a really really patient, calm person.
it looked extraordinary in the film.
By the
bathroom looks
end,
great.
it was beautiful. But like, yeah, no, we wanted everything to just be so beautiful. I took Art Nouveau like molding and put it on the side of my snake's like travel tank so that like that was a vibe, because I felt like they wouldn't have had like an icky, boring snake tank back then. Like
It's all those little things.
it's
that
every
make it all
little
pop,
thing. We
yeah.
went to like antique stores. We were just nuts. We like lost our minds on the
But-
like art direction
but that's what you do, So that's what.
but it's
we,
like worth it if you want to make it your desktop. So
yeah, absolutely. That's what we did. So
I'm pleased. And now it's in my house. So
That's very cool. Did you guys already say a film?
the film. Okay.
So if you
go for it.
if you've like a film rec or not a rec, like if you as a listener like this film, then you're bound to like Satirica.
sure.
If you like Meet Me in St. Louis, you'll like Satirica.
If you've never seen The Red Shoes by
Yeah.
Paul and Pressburger, put that on. You will love Satirica, because both are very magical movies that take you away from reality.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Yes.
absolutely, of
And-
course.
Now it's time to get lost.
Good evening.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. To stay in touch, follow our Instagram page at It's Intermission Time and share with your friends. As always, Intermission is produced by Jazeel Chu and Olivia Dean, and of course, hosted by yours truly, Megan Braun. This episode is brought to you by The Synagogue.